whether you're religious or not, there's something about music that calls something otherworldly to us.
This is Faith Complex, a dialogue about the entanglement of religion, politics, and art.
Hi, I'm Alexis West of Georgetown University, and you're watching Faith Complex. Today we have with us Ellen Cherry. She's an Emmy-nominated singer and songwriter. She's been awarded Maryland State Art Council Individual Artist Awards for vocal performance and music composition, and she founded her own studio and label, Wrong Size Shoes, in 2004. Thanks for coming to Faith Complex.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So I listened to a ton of your music, and it's clear that you are very proficient at guitar.
Thanks.
When did you start playing this instrument, and what made you choose guitar?
I actually didn't start playing the guitar until I was about 20 or 21. I was a sophomore in college. I had played cello before that and studied piano, but the piano is quite heavy and hard to travel with. So the guitar is a little bit portable, yeah.
After listening to your music, based on my musical knowledge, which is not that extensive, I would categorize you as a folk singer. Would you agree with this?
I definitely like being in that genre because folk singing and folk music has to do with music that's about people and about stories and preserving that rich storytelling experience. And I aspire to be part of that rich American tradition of storytelling music.
And what kind of stories do you like to tell?
Well, recently, the last 5 years, I've been doing a lot of history stories. I majored in history when I was in college, and I have a deep, deep affection and love of history. And so I'm trying to find ways of telling historical narrative songs, basically. So that's definitely the songs that I'm writing now.
Right. On your website, you mentioned that you love literature, poetry, and history. So what authors and poets and historical eras would you say motivate your music the most?
My favorite poet has always been Rilke, although I can't say that he's heavily influenced my music, but just reading him.
I love Torso of Apollo.
Yeah, exactly. Authors, I actually have been inspired by several authors. Tom Robbins, Eric Larson directly inspired one of the songs on the last album. And historical eras, I studied this one in college, and I've always been fascinated, and I'm reading another book on it, is World War II, German history. So, and Civil War history, American Civil War.
So now to shift more to a faith-based subject. So in 2008 at the Folk Alliance, before singing a cover of Tom Waits' song, Way Down the Hole, you mentioned that you're not a religious person, but that song made you feel spiritual. So what about spirituality affects your work, and can you tell me more about your spirituality?
I was raised as a Catholic, in not a severely strict Catholic family, but we did attend church very regularly, and I went through First Communion and I went to confession regularly. I also went to an all-girls Catholic school, and at one point did consider seriously becoming a nun. I spent a lot of spring breaks with different various sisters in Missouri doing service work, and I was always fascinated with the Virgin Mary. The worship of the Virgin Mary in the Catholic religion was just amazing to me. It was so personal, and I loved the fact that she was such a motherly figure for Catholics. And I felt that I started to come away from it when I studied Buddhism in college, and now I consider myself a rationalist and not religious at all. But there's something about songs like Way Down in the Hole by Tom Waits and other music, especially gospel music, that can make you feel spiritual, whether you're religious or not. There's something about music that calls something otherworldly to us. And some people can say it's divine, but just sort of otherworldly, and that's the beauty of music and melody.
And it's funny you mentioned the Virgin Mary, because my favorite song by you happens to be Marianne, which is this minimalistic and beautiful plea almost to the Virgin Mary. And I was going to ask, the religious motivation behind that song, do you do that to be more relatable, or what exactly makes you want to put religion in your music?
I think, like a lot of people that study religion or are raised in the Catholic faith, because that's the only faith that I have experience with, direct experience with, it can be very confusing to want to educate yourself later about other religions and also about rationalist ideas, Enlightenment ideas that don't necessarily have something to do, that pull away from religion, that you can feel that you've lost something. And that song, I hope, speaks to the idea that there is something that I'm searching for still, that I'm not necessarily looking for in a religion, but I love this historical character and the maternal aspects of the Virgin Mary, and the idea that one of the big tenets of her position in the Catholic Church is about protection and maternal love, and that you can actually pray to Mary for protection and you can think about her. And I love that idea. One of my favorite ideas of being a Catholic as a child was that we had all these saints that you could request different things for them to help you with. You lost something, you call on St. Anthony, and
Yeah.
he helps you find your keys.
Always someone by your side.
Exactly.
Ellen Cherry is not your real name, it's a stage name. And this actually comes out of a book by Tom Robbins, Jitterbug Perfume and Skinny Legs and All.
Yep.
And so what about this Ellen Cherry character? Can you explain her role in the story and why you admired her or found her interesting enough to adapt her name as your stage name?
That's such a great question. I found the things that are appealing about Ellen Cherry is that she's an artist, and especially in the book Skinny Legs and All, which is the book that she's the main character. She travels across the country, and she goes to New York, and she lives an artistic lifestyle. And I wanted to sort of have a mentor, even if she wasn't a real person, that I could pattern my artistic life after, and attempt to try to just be free and open with art and let it come to me in the way that it was going to come to me, and embrace the artistic lifestyle the way that she did.
We've been here with Emmy-nominated singer and songwriter Ellen Cherry. Thanks so much for coming on Faith Complex.
Thanks for having me.
Would you play us out?
Absolutely. I wear a window on my heart, so you can see right through. A single pane of glass, and it separates the valves, the halves. It does not sever me from you. I put a seal upon my lips. It's a promise to be true. Reminder, residue, and it preserves clues and other cues. And that kiss I saved for you. It's not that one untied, the truth that doesn't lie. A tiny death we shared exactly the same time. It brought us back to life. I got these calluses on my hands. Oh, you know the work I've done. An honest mark, you see, and it protects the very heart of me and all the battles I have won. Skin that will not break, solemn sleep that cannot wait. That never loses light. I hope to dream of you tonight. I hope to dream of you tonight. So you can see right through. A single pane of glass, it separates the valves, the halves. It does not sever me from you.
Hey, thanks.